invitation. And I'm Gary, who is the professor of Department of Medicinal and Applied Chemistry, KMU. And I'm also waiting to be the East Wing for all of you, right? And today my topic is the green carbon quantum dots. And first, I would like to introduce what is carbon quantum dot. Carbon quantum dot is the carbon material where the size around or below 10 nanometer. And because the structure and the component of carbon quantum dots have many diverse and very interesting properties. So recently my lab is working on the synthesis and the application of carbon quantum dots. Yeah, and as you can see in this slide, the carbon quantum dot can be applied in many different fields, such as chemical sensing, bioimaging, and even the energy storage device. And the next is, other than the carbon quantum dots, we also interested in using the green source for producing the carbon quantum dots for the purpose of green and sustainable consideration and the high abundance for green source carbon quantum dots, and they're inexpensive, which means almost everyone or almost every lab can produce green carbon quantum dots. And there are many different ways to produce carbon quantum dots. For example, in my lab, we use the microwave oven or the hydrothermal method to produce the carbon quantum dots. And as for the green carbon quantum dots, we, according to the literature, there are many green resources such as coffee grounds, orange juice, banana peels, or pomelo peels, and many green resources have been reported, which means the waste can be recycled. And that's the reason I call it a green and sustainable material. And, and more recently, my lab is working on to use the green carbon quantum dots in chemical sensing. For example, this is the figure using the carbon quantum dots for sensing ions. Yeah, using the frozen property, as you can see in the figure D here. Yeah, in the presence of ion, the frozens will be quenched. And on the contrary, in the presence of other different metal ions, the frozens are still remain. That's how we use how we use the carbon quantum dot in chemical sensing. And other than the chemical sensing, we also use this kind of material for wastewater treatment. For example, during the production of carbon quantum dots, we can also synthesize hydrochar simultaneously, which was supposed to be disposed, but we recycle it to use it in wastewater treatment. As you can see here, in the presence of the hydrochar, we have synthesized the organic dye in the aqueous solution will be removed by our hydrochar, which has many high potential in environmental purpose. Okay, and this is how my lab recently working on. And the next slide, okay, thank you. And as for what can you learn in my lab? Because our lab is welcoming the students who are interested in master degree or PhD degree. And you can learn some molecular spectroscopy technique, especially in Raman spectroscopy or UV visible and FTIR spectroscopies. These three different spectroscopy techniques are what you can learn in my lab. And other than these three spectrometers, we also working on the DLS or the TEM and the SEM, which are the electronic microscopic technique and process. And recently, we will have atomic force microscopy, such facilities, and so many different. And this is only the brief introduction in my lab. And if you are interested in the technique or in the topic which I have just mentioned, please visit the our group website, and there will also be online internship position opened. Please also check the detail in my group website, okay? And it will be our pleasure to cooperate with all of you in on-site or even in person are all very welcome. Please just feel free to contact us, all right? Thank you so much.